Hello and welcome to the San Jose State Career Center webinar. My name is Anita Manuel and I'm the Associate Director for Career Education here at San Jose State. I will be your co-host for this webinar. I'm also going to be joined by my colleague, Christine Bautista, who is also here to co-host and deliver some information to all of you. Before we get into more formal introductions and answering some questions that I'm sure you may have, we want to go over some housekeeping. So this is a webinar that is going to be recorded. So there are some slides that have a lot of information, some referrals to different parts of our websites. Don't feel like you need to take copious notes, because if you actually click on the link, you may not be able to click on it from your computer, but if you copy that web link, the bit.ly link /CCASD20, that will take you to a Google form where we will collect your contact information and email you a recording of this webinar as well as the slides. You'll also have an opportunity to email any additional questions to us post this webinar if something comes up that we may not answer, if you're just remembering something during the week that you'd like to share with us. And also, please note that you're automatically on mute. So we have a Q&A feature. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A little icon. That is where you can type in some questions. And during the presentation, I will answer questions, or Christine will answer questions that are most common. We also have a note taker who will answer some questions as they come up. But please know at the end of the presentation, about 15 or 20 minutes, the rest of the time will be Q&A, and we can directly answer as many questions as possible for the rest of the hour. So with that, again, I want to welcome you to this webinar. It's for students who are new, both freshmen. I know there's some transfer students who are on the line, so we welcome you as well. These are good tips for both. And it's going to be focused on work options when you come to campus, and what those opportunities might look like and how you can apply to those opportunities. Again, I'm Anita Manuel, and I have been at the university as a career counselor and a leader in the center for the past 15 years. And I've worked in higher education almost 20 years, as well as staffing and recruiting. As you can see, this is our team. We are a team of professionals in career counseling, industry specialists, human resources, and recruiting. And we are here to serve all students, hoping to make sure that everyone is career ready upon graduation. And I also want to have my co-host, Christine, introduce herself and a little bit about her portfolio as well.
Hi, so good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is Christine Bautista. I'm the Career Counselor for Education, Public, and Human Service. I know that's a mouthful, but what that basically means is I am the counselor assigned to the College of Social Sciences and College of Education.
Great. So before we get into some of the details of how you can find campus employment and good opportunities for students who are new to campus, but just wanted to give you an overview of how all of our services and our resources and events are organized. So if you go to our website, if you come into our office, whether it's our virtual office, we are 100% virtual now, but we also have a location on campus, which we will share with you towards the end of the presentation. Our resources are focused on exploring your options, which is first and foremost trying to figure out what it is that you're most interested in, what your personality preferences are, the top skills you have and what skills you'd like to build, and then how those relate to majors on campus as well as career opportunities. The second phase of our resources and our events and services are going to be focused on building experience. So once you know who you are and what you want to do, then we want to help you build the right experiences while you're at SJSU, so that you are a very strong candidate upon graduation, or even sooner when you're looking for internship opportunities. And the final phase of how we like to service our students is the launch your career option, which at this point, you're really actively looking at creating your professional brand and marketing yourselves to employers and actively networking with professionals. So what we'll highlight today will probably fall in some of these buckets, but wanted you to get familiar with the Explore Your Options build experience and launch your career, because our website also is aligned in that format.
Okay, so thanks, Anita. So for the next part of this presentation, Anita will be asking your participation through a poll. So let us know if you think if it's a myth or reality. I have to pursue a career path related to my major. So if you could answer the poll, there should be something that pops up, and then we will end the poll and share results. So most of the folks are okay. So let's share results. So thankfully, people get it. Like, it is a myth. You don't necessarily have to pursue a career path related to your major. So we'll explain a little bit more about that. Okay, let me just click on this slide here. So the statistics show us actually there's only 27% of college grads have a job related to their major. So to give you an example, you know, there's this profile of a celebrity. So he studied Western history, dance, and dabbled in Eastern mysticism. And he founded and ran an iconic technology company. So I'm sure some of you have already guessed who might that person be, but just in case you haven't guessed it, it's Steve Jobs, right? So a lot of folks actually like try different things before, you know, finding something that they love. So, you know, you learn along the way, and we'll help you in your journey with, you know, different tools and resources. So next we'll move on to the other questions. So again, we'd like for your participation. And Anita will again share a poll. So I only need to start thinking about applying for internships a semester before I need it. Is it a myth or reality? Okay, so let me share the results. So thankfully, most of the folks recognize that it is a myth. Let me stop sharing the results and just share some information. So competitive summer internships usually accept applications the fall of the previous year. So the sooner that you prepare for internship applications, the better. So when you join, you know, SJSU for your first year, first semester, you know, your first semester is really about like navigating the whole academic environment. And then hopefully in your second semester, you already start thinking about, you know, connecting with us so that we could help you with your next phase in your academic and career success. So we're gonna talk about broadly like two types of employments that students participate in. So first is on campus, and within on campus, there's work study and other on-campus employment. And then the next one would be part-time off-campus employment. So work study is also known as federal work study, which allows students to gain valuable work experience while they're earning money to help pay for college. So the minimum work study award is $5,000. This whole paragraph is actually lifted from the website link that you see. So you want to familiarize yourself with that link and website if you are eligible for work study. And just to let you know, eligibility does not guarantee employment. So it is, if you get notification that you are qualified or eligible for work study, it is still on you to find a work study position. Also note that not all campus employment qualify for work study. And you have to search for jobs using SVSU Handshake or approaching a specific department or hiring manager. And we will show you how you might find that information. So once you are enrolled, you do have access to SVSU Handshake, which is the online database available for San Jose State University students. So on the back end, an employer selects which universities they promote their opportunities too. So if you see jobs on SVSU Handshake, it means that they're really interested in hiring Spartans, which is very different from, just the general job search engines that anyone can join in. So if you're looking for a work-study position, once you have access to Handshake upon enrollment, you want to use the on-campus filter and also check work-study so you could see what work-study positions are available. So there are a lot of departments within San Jose State. So you also want to look at the left panel, like when you look on my screen or on your screen, you'll see a list of other on-campus entities, and some of them have their own way of recruiting student workers or student assistants. So you also want to be familiar with these other campus entities. And then on your right, you'll see how you might search for other on-campus employment using SVSU Handshake, right? So basically for this part, you just unclick work study, and then you'll see other on-campus jobs. If you're looking for an internship, you basically use the internship tab or filter.
Christine?
Yes.
Do you mind if I share there are some questions that are coming in addition to the work study, but also some questions about internships and at what time is good for students to apply for internships. We will be doing a secondary webinar that's focused on internships and job search. So that will be on Wednesday at 2 p.m. But I don't know if there's any other tips that you wanted to share now regarding internships, especially we also have transfer students on the line.
Yeah, so as you have mentioned, Anita, I would highly recommend that they attend the webinar on Wednesday, because we'll give more specific steps on how you might search for internships. I'm also just briefly looking at the questions here. We'll some questions from international students. I'll respond to that on the next slide. And then in terms of the specific amounts that you get for work study, you'd have to connect with the office that actually awards that, right? Which was the link that was shown earlier. So I hope you took note of that. And if you
can go back one, if
didn't, let me just go back
again.
One. Hold on. So here, this is the link. So if you want to jot it down, take a screenshot. So this is for the folks that have work study awards.
So any questions related to work study, as far as qualifications, how much the allotment is, whether you get the allotment in the first, it's usually over 2 semesters, all the details about how you get the financial aid should be sent to the financial aid office, and that website will give you the first places that you can start inquiring on the specifics related to your own allotment. This also includes, there's some questions about students who are AB 540 or DACA recipients. That would also be the site where you would get additional information on application for the financial aid pieces, but also work study.
Okay. So let's move on. So this was the slide on how you filter for work study jobs on Handshake. And then how do I apply for on-campus employment? So first you have to have your resume. So on our website, if you just do a Google search or just go to the Career Center website, you can search for the resume and cover letter guide under the launch icon. It gives a lot of examples and suggestions on how you create your resume. So you can start with that. And then once you're enrolled, you can access VMOC, which is an online resume feedback tool, or you could choose to meet with a counselor to get resume help. So the last option is only available once you're officially enrolled. Some jobs require you to fill out an application form, so you'll have to fill them out as needed. So it really depends on what position you're going for. So I know there were some questions from international students. So you are eligible to work on campus on your first semester. And if you need more information on your employment eligibility, you need to consult with ISSS and how that looks like, because there are specific steps for international students that they need to follow to make sure that everything goes smoothly in terms of their on-campus employment. And just to note here, HR adheres to pay the minimum wage of $15 for student positions. So that is the minimum wage in San Jose, so that's what students get.
Just a quick comment, a question that came up, Christine, before we move on. So there are some more questions on how federal work study will work since it's for on-campus work, and if the campus is closed in the fall, will this affect your financial aid? And I think this is a great question, some of which we don't 100% have all the answers to, because while we hope to be operational on campus in the fall, we are not sure yet, dependent on what the Centers for Disease Control and our local officials state as what is protocol at that time. However, I will state that we have transferred, and the university has transferred many of the on-campus positions to virtual positions. So there are positions posted right now in Handshake for work study and also for on-campus positions, but they either may be in person in the fall, and if not, there are virtual opportunities as well. So we actually at the Career Center hire up to 7 to 8 student workers, and all of our student workers are now working in a virtual environment, providing customer service virtually. So there are options for translating some of the on-campus opportunities into virtual opportunities, but that is a good question. And I would also follow up with financial aid on that link that was listed about 2 slides ago. Again, this is being recorded, so if you filled out the form in the beginning of this presentation, and we'll share that link with you again, then we can capture your contact information and email you a recording of this as well.
And then I'm just looking at some of the questions again. So in terms of, I think there's an H4 visa holder. Again, you would need to consult with ISSS. So I think someone was asking, what is ISSS? It's International Student and Scholar Services. So that's the entity on campus that helps international students. So they would be the best people to consult with regarding your eligibility for employment here in the United States. And are first year students able to apply for jobs through Handshake? Definitely, as long as, or transfer student, as long as you're matriculated, you immediately have access to SVSU Handshake and all of our other career apps. And let me just check, do we need job experience? That's a good question. So if you need help with your resume, again, like as soon as you're enrolled in the fall, you can consult with a career counselor and we can help you figure out what experience you can highlight on your resume. It doesn't necessarily have to be a paid job experience. It could be volunteer or other involvement that help you gain some skills that will be relevant to the job that you are interested in. And then there was a question, can we use a resume we made at the beginning of high school? So you definitely want to update your resume. It should be a living document because your experience changes as you change, right? And grow older and get more experience. So you should update this to reflect what your most current experience is. Okay, so hopefully I covered most of the questions that are there. We'll revisit again towards the end of this presentation. So this is another, again, just a screenshot from Handshake. So these are some of the possible filters you might use when you're looking for other employment off campus. So some of our students choose to work part-time off campus. So you could also use keywords, when you enter in the search bar, when you have access to Handshake, you type in open to freshmen, because there are some internship opportunities that are open to freshmen and sophomores. So it really dependent on the employer. Some will be specific about like you have to have earned a certain number of units. Some will say like we're open to hiring freshmen and sophomores. So it really depends on the employer and the opportunity. So again, check out the webinar this Wednesday when we talk more about internships and the job search process. So now I'm going to hand it back to Anita.
Okay. Thank you. I'm actually coming out of the Q&A, so thank you everyone for asking so many questions. And just repeating again, this is being recorded. So in addition to the Google form link that we sent out or shared in the beginning of the webinar, the website, which is Admitted Spartan Day, will also on our SJSU website have links to all the recordings as well in about a few days. So you will have access to all this information again. But our virtual home where you can find us now this is our website. It's sjsu.edu/career center. As you can see, accessing Handshake as well as some of our other applications is direct from the homepage. Also, you are able to access our online chat features. So we do have Career Center representatives online Monday through Friday. So if you go to our website, at the bottom of our page, there's a little icon for chat, and you can ask your questions there as well, and someone live will answer your questions if you're not able to kind of get the questions answered immediately today. So those are good resources for you to use. Also, the resources that are helpful for resume writing, the interview guide, those are all live and accessible now. You do not have to be a current student to access those. And from our webpage, there is a launch your career icon, and all the guides are listed under that icon as well. And then for our next slide.
Oops, sorry.
So again, two resources that the minute you're a matriculated student, meaning that you've paid your student fees and you're enrolled for classes, you're generated your student ID number, which allows you to log into any one of our virtual apps. And so Handshake, of course, we talked a lot about. That is where all of the positions will be posted, whether it's the work study option if you qualify for that. If not, realize there's also the on-campus jobs that may or may not be work study, and there are many of those opportunities, as well as part-time jobs either nearby campus or internships that are available for first year and second year students. So more and more companies are actually looking at starting the recruitment process earlier. So if you are someone who is really interested, you already know that you might want to get started in a certain field, and you have some courses that are under your belt, or you have some experiences that you would like to share, then there are opportunities for internships for first and second year students as well. Focus 2 is the other one I would recommend for first year students or new students who want to really have a good understanding of their interests and personality traits as they relate to types of positions and majors that might be a good fit. Mostly because we hear that a lot of employers are also seeking students who are passionate and excited about what it is that they're studying and learning. And so they really want you to have a good understanding of why you're pursuing a specific major or why you're pursuing a certain career path. And that usually has to do with your own unique experiences and who you are, right? So what might be interesting for one person is if they're drawn to engineering, for example, is going to be slightly different from someone else because each person is unique. So that is really important to kind of have that before you start really going down a path of a specific major or career path. And then the 3 events we want to highlight for first year students is we do host a career carnival annually. That might look a little bit different this fall, but hopefully by spring, if things are kind of back to normal, then we do host a live career carnival and you can meet the entire team. We also bring our employer partners on campus, so recruiters come and they just kind of meet and talk to students and answer their most common questions about the application process, what a good resume looks like, if they're hiring for internships. We even have a petting zoo, which is a big hit. And of course, we have free food and prizes. We also host a part-time job fair every year for students, typically both semesters. And if that's not able to be a live event for fall, we are looking at virtual options as well. So that is for on and off campus positions, part-time, which can include work study and some internship positions as well. So we try to bring employers directly to campus or virtually to you so that you don't have to really do a lot of work to find the right opportunities. And then the last thing I'd ask you to keep your eye out for when you arrive is our Leadership and Career Conference. So we do this once a year in partnership with our Student Involvement Office. And this is a great way, if you don't have any experience yet as far as using communication skills, leadership skills, ability to do collaboration or innovation, we bring lots of employers and alumni together for this event, and they host breakout sessions around three main skills: leadership, communication, and collaboration skills. And this gives students a hands-on experience at practicing these skills with employers and alumni. So it's a great networking event, but it's also a great skills building event as well. And then last but not least, please come visit us. We are excited to meet all of you in person. While we definitely are comfortable in a virtual environment, we are a bunch of career counselors who love people. We are people. So we are in the administration building in room 255. It's on the corner of San Fernando and 7th Street. And it's also right across from the engineering building. So if you are on campus in the fall and you want to come see us, please do not hesitate to come by. And if you cannot come by in person, I think our last slide has more of our virtual contact. If there were any questions that we cannot get to, and we will open it for Q&A after this, just pure Q&A, please email us at careerhelp@sjsu.edu. And then again, if you need immediate help, we have our Career Center representatives that are available live on our website through the chat option. So that little arrow at the bottom there shows what the chat icon looks like on our website. 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, you can have a chat conversation with a live person to also answer your questions. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and open it up for the Q&A. And I will see if Christine has any questions that are coming up, and I'll also get in there.
Yes, so again, just a reminder, if you haven't, please copy the bit.ly link and log in so we could share with you some follow-up information. And then just look at the Q&A very quickly. Will we be able to come on campus on the fall due to the virus, or will it continue to be online?
This is a $1 million question.
I know. I think it's a question for all of us too, but I'm sure, you know, we will find that information as soon as it is available.
I will say though, you know, whether we're online or on campus, we have these resources available to you, and we also do our individual appointments and coaching through Zoom, email, chat features. So there is an ongoing level of support for employers. A lot of students are wondering, what about job fairs? We usually host 9 to 12 job fairs a year on campus, drawing hundreds of recruiters, thousands of students. So we actually are able to convert a lot of that into virtual, and are doing our first online job fair actually this week for education and public service. So what's exciting is that there still are employers who are very much interested in hiring. The needs are continuing, and in some areas, industries are actually in high demand. And our goal is to really offer the support in the safest way possible. And so once we get some confirmation from, the Centers of Disease Control, as well as, government officials, et cetera, as to what, the safety measures will be, then we will go ahead and provide those. And stay tuned for updates, because I'm sure that's ever changing, just like everything else in our current world. But our want and desire is to absolutely, hopefully see you this fall.
There was a comment here who said, I'm an incoming freshman and I created a Handshake account today. This mean my account will be delayed. Do not create your own Handshake account, because your Handshake account for San Jose State created based on your tower ID, which I think you'll get once you're enrolled, right? So please don't create your own account, because it'll create a problem for you down the line. So just wait for, when you're actually matriculated and enrolled, reach out to us, and then we'll help you navigate how to actually, use your Handshake.
So that's a great point. And I think there were some questions on what we meant by matriculated. So in order to have access to any of the online applications, you have to be an enrolled student. And the way we get verification of enrolled students is once you're enrolled in classes and those classes have been paid for, then you're issued a valid student ID number that automatically gets downloaded into our systems. So you actually don't have to create your own Handshake account once you're a matriculated student. You will automatically be registered in Handshake. All you'll have to do is use your Tower Card ID number and whatever password you create once you become a student, and that will allow you to log into all of our online systems.
Thank you. And then what are different on-campus jobs available? It varies because it depends on the need. So it varies every semester because it really depends on the hiring needs of the different departments. And then also there's a question here, can international students work off campus? If it's your first semester or your first year, I don't think you can. Again, if you need more guidance on that, please consult with ISSS. Just Google SVSU ISSS, it should lead you to their website. There's a question, is there a set date and time for the career carnival?
I wish. To be determined. So typically we will be doing it in the spring semester when the weather is a little bit warmer and the zoo animals are happier when we do it in the spring. So to be determined in the spring semester. Typically we also host the part-time and on-campus job fair both in the fall and the spring. So be sure to check out our website regularly because we actually list our summer and fall calendars on the website. So you can see which events are coming up, when they were scheduled, and versions they will be, whether it's live, virtual, or some kind of hybrid version. So that's probably the best way to stay up to date.
And that goes true for all of our events. So go to the main website. Our events are posted through SVSU Handshake as well, right? So you could check that out once you're enrolled. There was a question here, how difficult is it to balance a job and school? You wanna stand by that?
Are you gonna take that one, Christine? I'm typing some answers right now.
Sure. So how difficult is it to balance a job and school? I mean, it varies from person to person. It really depends. There's a lot of resources and support on campus. So I think it's a question of also what your level of motivation and attitude is, right? If you're motivated, I think people can navigate, handling different things. If there are certain obstacles, finding the right support on campus, it really varies for each student on how that's possible. There's a question, are career events one time or are they going to happen multiple times throughout the year? So usually, like for the larger events, it's usually once a year. There are some events that may happen more often, but in general, it's once a year. And then, so in terms of registration and transcripts, I think you would need to go through a different office. That's not what we help with. So unfortunately, I can't support that. And then there's another question here. What's the difference between work study on campus and off campus jobs, pros and cons? So again, work study is federal work study. So the government basically awards, a minimum of $5,000 to help you get that experience and study experience. Off campus jobs, it could be any type of employment, right? That an employer wants to hire for. I don't know that there's really any pros and cons for both. I think it's more like what you want and what you're interested in, right? So there's a lot of questions about orientation. I think I don't have any information on that. I'm sure the orientation committee will provide more information as that comes available. Trying to see if there's other things here.
So it looks like there's also some questions about how to see job fair information. So once you are registered with the school, once you're matriculated and you can log into SJSU Handshake, Handshake is actually a career management system. So you're able to not only look for jobs and internships, but we also list all of our events on Handshake. Once you're in Handshake as well, you have your own little profile. So you can highlight the courses that you're taking, any skills that you've developed, any extracurricular activities that you're participating in. And employers can actually go into Handshake as well and search for candidates based on keywords. So we have a lot of students who will sometimes not even be applying to a specific job and are getting invitations for interviews from employers because they found them on Handshake based on their profile. One of those options is also to get our ongoing email. So we sent out an email with any information on new events. So the minute a new event is added, we can have that message sent to you. You can also search events by topic, and we list on-campus events, but also partner events. So there's something really interesting happening in the community that we think you should know about. For example, let's say Facebook is hosting a hackathon and they're inviting college students. And we do have, really strong connections with a lot of the large tech companies in the Valley. And so we will post that in Handshake as an event so that you can register and directly participate in that. So it's not just jobs and internships, but also any career-related events and networking events we will also post in Handshake.
And then there was a comment here, what happens if I already applied to Handshake? If you made that mistake, you could maybe email Career Help and explain that you're an incoming student and you made a duplicate account. So you could email Career Help at SVSU. And what is a tower card? So that's a good question. It's your student ID, basically, your student ID card. So other questions?
I see a couple about virtual-based careers on campus. And I think this is a question given the current situation that we're in. I can tell you that as of this morning, I logged into Handshake just to get a reading on where we were at with jobs and internships. And it changes, from day to day because some positions are filled and new ones get posted. So as of this morning, there were 13,500 job positions posted in SJSU Handshake for SJSU students. Of those, 2,600 were internships. So that gives you an idea of kind of the volume. There's a lot of opportunity. Those internships are primarily going to be converted to virtual opportunities. There are very few that are going to be able to safely be in person at this time. So a lot of those internship positions are things related to ability to do research, writing, online customer service or virtual customer service. And that also applies to some of the positions on campus. So there was a question about how do I get on campus work, or will there be virtual options? So a good example, in our office, we have all of our student team. Christine, correct me, how many students, is it 9 that we have now?
PCA 6, and then we have like other student support.
So let's say about 9 students in our office that are a combination of work study positions as well as non-work study positions. And all of our students are still working in our office. We just have translated their projects to online versions. A lot of that has to do with research, a lot of ability to write well and strongly, sending out email updates. Our note taker today, Maya, is also one of our students in conducting some of that virtually. So there are options and opportunities to convert some of those things. Some positions obviously are not as easily convertible into a virtual opportunity. So those would be the things, the areas, that we may have to look at as the semester begins. But today also there's 12 on-campus positions that are currently open that need to be filled. And those positions are either to start in the fall or they are virtual opportunities that need to be filled immediately.
There's a question here. Not sure if you already shared this, but what employers recruit from SJSU? So there's more information on that on the Wednesday webinar, but I don't know if Anita, you want to speak a little bit about that?
So any company that you can think of in the Bay Area and the Valley recruits from SJSU. We have a listing of our partners. So if you go to our website, you can click on employers and it will show a listing of the partners, or even about us will show a listing of our career outcomes. So we do launch a career outcomes survey each year to show where students are actually working and where they've landed jobs. So if you go to the About Us page under Career Outcomes, there are reports by year, and you can see the top employers. But our #1 employer actually, I should have done a poll on this and had you guys guess, but the employer who's hired the most of our graduates, I think from last year, and they've been kind of the highest, they're always in the top 3, is Cisco. We have the most alumni working at Apple than any other university. And so we are definitely kind of powering Silicon Valley. So Adobe's down the street from us. Google is building a giant complex down the street from us. We have students working also in a lot of smaller organizations, nonprofit organizations, healthcare. So there are a lot of different programs that we have on campus. So the diversity of our programs are also matched with the diversity of employers that come to our campus.
So there was a question here, what are the maximum hours that a student can work if they're in the federal work-study program?
I believe it's 20.
20. And I think that's true for all student positions, right? Regardless if it's work-study or not, you're only allowed to work 20
out
hours.
At 20.
So some of these, I think we've already answered. Again, like for specific questions about work study amounts and all that, please refer to the website we had shared earlier. And there's a question here, how often do you update the website when jobs become available? It's updated constantly.
It's a live update process.
Yeah.
So employers, as soon as they post positions, there is a vetting process. So we have an employer relations team who ensures that all of the positions that are posted are legitimate and not fraudulent, and that are good positions for our students. And so there's a vetting process, but then the minute those positions, employers get to post as many positions as they would like, they're approved, and then they're on the database immediately. So there's very little kind of downtime between when the position was posted and when it's visible to the student.
I think most of the questions we've already answered. Some of it is a repeat. Again, when's the best time to apply for on-campus job for first-year students? As soon as you see a job posting, apply. If there's something that's interesting to you. As we mentioned earlier, you want to get your resume ready, so you can go to our website, look at the resume and cover letter guide under the launch career icon. And once you're enrolled and you need, help from one of our career counselors, you're welcome to visit. So some of the questions. So what is LinkedIn? That's a question.
LinkedIn is actually the largest professional network, and basically they don't like being described as a professional version of Facebook, but that's kind of the easiest way, I think, to describe it. So if you go to linkedin.com, you can create a free account. You could be a student, you could be, at any age, and log in, and basically it allows professionals to create their own online portfolio, so to speak. So you can list your specialty areas, the type of work that you're looking for. It's almost like a virtual resume, so to speak, but you can also include media. You can include pictures of your projects, of yourself doing work, video, PowerPoint, all types of media to exhibit how you use those skill sets. And what's really important about LinkedIn, and we use LinkedIn quite a bit to connect with our alumni. So if you want to see in real lifetime data what our alumni are doing, you could do what we call a alumni search on Google. So you would just type in San Jose State University into LinkedIn, and our university will come up. You'll click on that, and on the page for our university, there is I think it's on the left-hand side of the page actually, a alumni tab. And when you click on that, it will list the hundreds of thousands of alumni that are registered with LinkedIn, and all of their profiles. They're basically their professional profiles, what they majored in, when they graduated, the type of jobs they've had. You can see the career path of the jobs that they had from graduation to where they are now. And you can also connect with those professionals. So we do a lot of workshops and training with students on how to best create a professional LinkedIn profile, which is everything from your professional headshot all the way down to what you present about yourself and how you even write your LinkedIn profile so that you can be identified and found by recruiters who are constantly searching for talent. And then also, how do you professionally connect with and outreach to alumni that you may not know in order to develop a network, your first professional network. So we do all the coaching and training around that, but that's kind of an overview of what LinkedIn is and how you can best use it. The other thing I will say is there is a partnership between San Jose State University and LinkedIn, and we provide all students access to LinkedIn Learning. So if there is a skill that you want to develop, let's say you're a philosophy major, but you have a real interest in maybe the ethics around technology, and you want to take a basic coding course, but you don't want to, you know, take a whole other minor or major in computer science. You're just curious about kind of maybe dabbling in what is coding. You could actually take a free LinkedIn Learning course as a San Jose State University student as part of this partnership. So you can search different types of courses and just add to your skill sets while being a matriculated student at San Jose State University. I think I'll leave that at that for the LinkedIn commercial. But if you want more information, our Wednesday webinar will also go into some more details about that.
Again, like for any questions about work study, financial aid, you'd have to connect with the financial aid office to get your answers. What else? I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. I think there was a question about do we offer company tours?
That's a good question. So before our COVID situation, we did support what we call career treks. So trekking to different company sites and usually kind of small cohorts, usually 10 or less. We also do a lot of collaboration with student clubs on campus. And so a lot of student clubs sometimes as part of their activities want to sponsor a visit or trek to an employer, and we can help coordinate that. So those are options, but that probably is not, I'm not sure how feasible that will be until we kind of settle the COVID situation. Employers are open to hosting students on site, but we do virtual versions of a trek, which we call information sessions, in which employers kind of host a webinar like this, but give a day in the life of what it's like to work at their company, maybe introduce some of their team through this virtual webinar, and then answer direct questions from students as well. So there are still opportunities to connect more intimately with employers.
And then there was a question about the recordings of the webinars. I believe they should be on the open house website, right? And then if you had filled out the bit.ly, which is on the screen that you are seeing right now, we will send a follow-up email, and we should be able to share additional resources. And then I think maybe this could be the last question. What time is the Wednesday webinar for more information?
Take it, Christine.
So the Wednesday webinar will be this Wednesday, April 22nd at 2 p.m. And information should be on the virtual open house website as well.
So thank you so much for joining us. Again, we would have loved to do this live because we love seeing people in person and getting to meet all of you and welcome you. But hopefully some of your questions were answered. If not, feel free to do the career help at svsu.edu, and we will follow up with you as well. If you want the recording as well as the slides to this presentation, please fill out the bit.ly that's on the screen right now. So it's https://bit.ly and then /CCASD20. So that goes to a Google form where we can just collect your email information so that we can email you the information directly. And then in a few days, I believe that a link of all the webinars that are happening through the Mid-Spartan Day virtual open house will be available. So in addition to our webinar, there'll be lots of other webinars, and I believe financial aid, I wish I could look it up right now and let you guys know when the financial aid one is, and I think it's probably after us happening today, because that is a great place to ask a lot of the work study questions, not necessarily how to find the work study, because we're the place where we can tell you here's who's posting work study positions and here's how to get your resume perfect so you can apply. But we actually don't handle any of the granting of the work study finances or the logistics or the policies upon who qualifies when and how and what paperwork needs to be processed for that. That's all handled by financial aid. So with that, thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you in the fall as proud Spartans. And until then, be well and be healthy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.